The train screeched to a halt in the dusty little town of Willow Creek, and the whole station turned to look at her. A woman in a wheelchair, wearing a faded blue dress and clutching a small suitcase like it held her entire world. Her name was Clara Mayfield, and she had traveled over 1,000 miles to marry a man she'd never met. But this wasn't how she imagined it would go. The platform was full of curious eyes and whispering tongues. In the middle of it all stood Luke Harper, a tall, broad-shouldered rancher in a worn Stetson hat. He held a bunch of daisies in his calloused hand, the same flowers he'd promised to bring when he came to meet his bride. Only he wasn't expecting her to roll off the train. Luke's jaw tightened. His heart pounded in confusion. The mail-order bride agency hadn't said anything about her being in a wheelchair. Clara's hands trembled as she looked up at him, her voice soft but steady. "Mr. Harper?" He blinked, still stunned. "Yes, ma'am. That's me." The silence between them stretched, thick as summer heat. Then with one deep breath, Luke took the daisies and handed them to her. "I suppose you must be Mrs. Harper now." Clara smiled nervously. "If you'll still have me." Luke didn't answer right away. He helped her into his wagon, careful and gentle, but his mind raced the whole ride back to his ranch. He'd written to her for months, letters filled with laughter, stories about his land, his 7-year-old daughter Lily, and his dream of having a good woman to share it all with. He thought he knew her, but now he didn't know what to think. When they reached the ranch, Lily came running out of the house, her pigtails bouncing. "Papa, is that her? Is that Miss Clara?" Luke nodded. "It sure is." Lily's eyes widened when she saw the wheelchair. "You can't walk?" Clara hesitated, then smiled. "Not yet, sweetheart, but I can still race you in my chair." Lily grinned, and right then something inside Luke softened. His daughter had been shy and quiet since her mother's passing 3 years ago. Seeing her smile again felt like the first sunrise after a long storm. But Luke's neighbors weren't as kind. Whispers spread fast across Willow Creek. "A crippled wife," they said. "How's she supposed to help on a ranch?" Luke heard them all, but he never said a word. Still, deep down, he wondered the same thing. Days turned into weeks. Clara tried her best to help around the house. She cooked, mended clothes, and taught Lily how to read by lantern light. Her laughter filled the halls again, soft and hopeful, like the ranch itself was learning to breathe. But Luke still kept his distance. He was polite, never cruel, yet distant enough that Clara felt the space between them grow wider with every sunset. One evening she rolled onto the porch to watch him repair a fence. His shirt clung to his back with sweat, his hands steady and strong. "Luke," she said softly, "I know I wasn't what you expected." He paused, hammer midair. "I can leave," she continued, her eyes glistening. "You deserve someone whole, someone who can walk beside you." Luke turned slowly, his gaze heavy with something she couldn't read. He set the hammer down and walked toward her. "Clara," he said, his voice low and rough, "I didn't marry you for what you can't do. I married you for the woman who wrote me letters about hope when I'd forgotten what that word even meant." Her breath caught. He knelt beside her wheelchair, dirt on his knees and sincerity in his eyes. "You said you lost your legs in that accident, but you didn't lose your spirit. And that's what this ranch needs more than anything." Clara's tears spilled over. "But you deserve more than someone broken." Luke shook his head. "We're all broken in some way, Clara. The trick is finding someone whose cracks fit yours." From that day, everything changed. Luke built ramps around the ranch so Clara could move freely. He crafted a custom saddle so she could ride again, her first ride in years. The moment she sat atop that chestnut mare, wind brushing her hair, she laughed louder than she ever had before. And Lily? She clung to Clara like a shadow, always eager to help, always smiling. The townsfolk who once whispered began to see something they hadn't before. A family, imperfect but strong. Then one morning, months later, Clara stood on the porch, without her wheelchair. Her legs trembled, weak but alive. Tears ran down her cheeks as she took one small, steady step toward Luke, who froze in disbelief. "Doctor said I might never walk again," she whispered. "But I guess he never met a man stubborn enough to build me a saddle." Luke dropped everything and ran to her, wrapping her in his arms as Lily cheered from the yard. In that moment, under the golden sky of Willow Creek, Clara realized something. She hadn't just found a husband. She'd found a home and the courage to stand again.